Hi, my name is David, I'm in Tainan, and this is Taiwan in English. You might have noticed that I'm not in my normal studio today. A while ago, I was talking to some of my bicycle friends, and I told them that I wanted to make some videos to give you some cooking ideas. I knew that they had a commercial kitchen, but I had no idea that you could rent it for a day. Let me tell you, this place is chock full of commercial grade equipment that makes even the biggest projects a breeze. If you need some extra kitchen workspace or just access to some high-end kitchen gear, contact my friends over at Jiatsubi to find out all you need to know. There are some links below. In today's exciting episode, we will be talking about pies, specifically buttery pie crusts. Welcome to Holiday Pie Week. I wanted this to be as easy as possible, and I didn't want you to need a bunch of tools. But to make this crust, you will need a food processor. My friends at Jiatsubi have super powerful food processors, but mine has a clear plastic bowl, so you'll be able to see what's going on inside while it's being processed. So what will you need? Obviously, you're gonna need a food processor. Then you're gonna need 340 grams of flour. This is all-purpose flour. You're gonna need 227 grams of butter, non-salted or unsalted. Then you're gonna need about a quarter cup of salt. If you only have salted butter, don't include this. And then you're gonna also need about 100 milliliters of cold water. Now, before we can put it in the food processor, you're gonna need to chop the butter into a little bit smaller pieces. These are just too big for the food processor. Maybe not this one, but for this one. The colder the butter, the better off you're going to be. I'm in a studio with lights, so it's a little bit melted, sorry. Now it's a good idea to go ahead and put about half of the butter underneath the flour. So we'll put in about half of the butter here. Then we're gonna put our flour over the top, add our salt, the rest of the butter on top of that. Put on the lid. And we're gonna wanna pulse this. And then when you turn it on, into the top, we're gonna add the water. And once the dough starts to come together, it's done. Pop the top. You'll be able to dump this right out onto the countertop. Be careful of the blades, they are sharp. Any flour on the outside, just massage a little bit, knead it a little bit, and it'll go right in. It'll be fine. Then you can wrap it up in plastic, or you can put it into a bowl. Put it in the refrigerator until you're ready to roll it out and put it into the pie crust. That's it. Okay, so my pie crust dough has been in the refrigerator for a couple of hours. It's nice and firm and really great. Now it's time to put the pie crust into the pie pan or pie tin. So the first thing we have to do is, this is too much dough for one pie pan bottom. So we're gonna cut it in roughly half. To make it a little bit easier so it doesn't stick on your counter, a little bit of flour helps. Then we're just gonna cut it in half. This is just a pastry cutter thing, right in half. Put that one back into the refrigerator. It's usually better to shape it into a little bit of a disc. And then we're gonna use a rolling pin again. If you have a rolling pin like this, that's fine. My friends have one that has a little guide there, so we're gonna, and then we're just gonna roll it out. It's best to roll it out one direction and then flip it. Roll it out the other direction. You may not be able to see it on the camera, but there's a little bit of a place where it's starting to pull apart here. Just a little bit of flour, a little bit of flour. The best way to do this is to hold it over the top. You'll be able to see how much of the pan is going to be covered. Now this is only a little bit, so this is a little bit too thick, but because we have the guard there, it doesn't want to get any thinner. So then we just switch over. We're able to thin it out a little bit more. See, plenty of space now to put it inside. Now the easiest way to put the pie crust inside the pie tin is to use your rolling pin to pick it up, drape it over the top, and then just use your fingers to move it down inside. Now you see here how it ripped a little bit? That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the slightest. That's going to be hidden no matter what kind of pie crust you end up having. If you find yourself with little holes, just smush the dough together, press it up against the side, and it will be fine. Then take a knife and just go around the edge to cut off whatever is left above your line. I know the professional cooks out there are all gonna scream, "David, you're so terrible." Trust me, it's delicious. And there we have a pie crust and a pie tin. Now, for some things, you're going to need to do something called blind baking. Blind baking is when you put the pie crust into the pie tin and then you bake it without putting the filling in. Now to do that, you're gonna need a couple of other things. You're either gonna need aluminum foil or wax paper. And I'll show you that in just a second. Now the way that you do this to make sure that it works out as well as possible, is you're gonna need to line the pie with something. You can use wax paper or parchment paper, put it inside, or you can use aluminum foil. Shiny or not shiny, doesn't matter. I'm gonna be using aluminum foil today because I am going to be using pie weights. Pie weights are just little metal weights that you buy at a bakery store or DIY kind of store. You can put them inside. If you don't have them or you don't want to buy them, you can also use sugar. Actually, you know what? Let's use sugar. So once you put this in, put the aluminum foil in, get it up to the sides, and then just pour in sugar on top of it. Then we're going to put it in the oven at about 200 degrees for about 10 or 15 minutes. Now here we have this convection thing, so I'm not really sure how long it's going to be, but it's not going to be very long. The reason that sugar is a good thing to use here is, one, even if it starts to get a little bit brown, that just makes sugar more delicious. You'll be able to use the sugar in other things you're baking or just in drinks or whatever you're going to use sugar in, and it'll be more caramely and more delicious. So we're going to go ahead and put this in the oven, and I will see you when it comes out. I've got a little bit of bad news. We had a little bit of a recording issue, and we lost the footage of the blind baked pies and the cookies once they came out of the oven. I'm really sorry, don't know what happened. Next time, I will try to do a little bit better. But that is gonna be it for today. Before you go, if you liked the video or you learned something, please hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss anything. And as always, if you have any questions, you can comment here or you can find me on social media. The links are down below in the description. And I will see you in the next exciting episode of Taiwan in English. Bye.